Do you know what's stressful most Christmases? Gift giving. Yes, it is. But does it have to be? I did an amazing episode with author Jenna Michael last Christmas. And instead of squeezing in another episode this year, I want to point you back to that episode because it's still tried and true. So good. It's number 125, and I highly suggest it right now. The reason it can be stressful is because when we are in high pressure situations, the deadline of Christmas Day, we go into autopilot. These are our natural ways to function for our nervous system to protect and keep our body safe. But just because it's natural doesn't mean it's good. I want to talk today about the 4 ways anxiety shows up in your very busy season, like Christmas, and what to do about it. So in this episode, I'm not only going to help you identify your specific autopilot anxiety responses, but then we're also going to give you 5 practical ways to disrupt this autopilot and respond better, even in the middle of this Christmas crazy. Sound good? Let's dive in. Hey mama, are you overwhelmed by your full, blessed life? Do you feel stuck in the messy, mundane middle? Then I'm so glad you're here to take a breath. Hey, I'm Shan Wright, RN, holistic wellness coach, and a mom to 4 that went from perfectionism, control, and lots of anxiety to intentionally living through simple solutions and so much peace. If you are done with the stressed out life, hot mess express type of motherhood, then heat up that coffee again and let's live holistically well in the middle. Let's go. First, let's talk about what autopilot actually looks like in real life. So when we get overwhelmed, whether it's the holidays, a stressful work season, or just life, our nervous system kicks into protection mode. It wants to keep us safe. And we default to one of 4 responses, or maybe a few of these. And these aren't conscious choices. They're automatic patterns we've developed over the years, maybe even decades, or maybe it was a learned experience at one time and your body said, yep, that kept me safe. So now every time after this situation happens or I feel this way, I'm going to respond this way. So let's go into the 4 common ones. Number 1 is conflict. Now, this is when you pick a fight. Maybe you snap at your husband for leaving dishes in the sink. Maybe you overreact when your kid spills the milk. Or maybe you find yourself annoyed by everything one of your in-laws says at the dinner table. So conflict is on a continuum, by the way. It's not always this big blowout fight or you actually arguing with someone. Sometimes it's a passive-aggressive comment or literally a thought or literally an attitude. Sometimes it's just in your head and it's this irritation that is simmering under the surface and you feel it when you are around this situation, this person, or in this environment. Years ago, I noticed that whenever I got super stressed out, I would start snapping at those around me. I would not be talking nice to my husband. I would become a drill sergeant with my kids and just bark orders at them. And I did not like it. And I did not want to talk to my husband that way. So I noticed this in myself and I didn't like it. And so I'm actually going to give you a little sneak peek into what we're going to talk about later, which is disrupting this autopilot. And in this scenario, I said to him, I don't want to talk to you this way. I don't want to talk to the kids this way. When I'm doing this, can you just know that this is not me? It's not how I want to act. And I'm probably very anxious about something. So you just interrupt me and can you just stop me right there in my tracks and say, what are you anxious about? What are you afraid of? And can you break this cycle that I'm in? That would be so helpful. We'll talk more about this later in the episode, but I was having a conflict automatic response, came out in just this snapping, nagging. I was irritated inside, and that is how I thought I was going to protect and keep my body safe. Okay, number 2 is distance. This is when you withdraw. You get quiet, you avoid, you shut down emotionally. Maybe you're physically present, but mentally checked out. You scroll on your phone instead of engaging in conversation. You avoid difficult conversations. You create space between you and the people you need most or who need you most. You avoid the hard conversations, the hard topics, the text messages, even eye contact or the mirror. You're avoiding the mirror. The budget, myself, I understand this one. The bills, that coworker, the scale. So I'll tell you right now, this is the one I go to the most. This is the one that I have lived in for so long. I will avoid because I know in the past that thing has brought on so much anxiety that I can't go there again, or a bad history on said topic. So I will avoid it like the plague. I avoided conversations about money for 12 years with my husband. I just let him deal with it. And it started because when we first met and we were engaged, actually, we had the healthy conversations about money, and then something happened and I was like, okay, now I'm done. He's got this. I can't handle this. I'm very anxious about this. And I avoided for the next 12 years. So let's just say that was not a good solution. But we can do this in such a variety of ways and degrees, from just, again, avoiding the eye contact all the way to cutting someone or something out of our life. Number 3 is over-functioning or under-functioning. So over-functioning looks like, I'll just do it all myself. No big deal. Inside it is, but no big deal. I just do it all. I want it to be right. You take on more and more and more because at least if you do it, it gets done and it gets done right. You become the martyr mom, right? I'm doing everything, but you are doing it and you're taking it on. You're exhausted, but you just can't stop, because if you stop, everything falls apart. You feel like you are the one who does everything in the house, and you have that thought that comes up. Why do I do everything? Why am I the one that has to handle everything? Or maybe this shows up at work and you feel this anxiety, this automatic response comes up, this autopilot, and you go into, well, I'm going to be the best dang employee they ever saw. I'm going to take care of my patients the best that I know how. I'm going to just do my job and I'm going to do it to the best of my ability because that made me mad. That upset me. That made me anxious. That made me fear something. And so now I'm going to overperform. Okay. I feel like a lot of us high achievers have this one as our autopilot because this is what we know. This is where we feel safe. Or there's actually underfunctioning, which is the opposite. You shut down completely. You can't make decisions. You procrastinate. You let the decisions pile up, which points back to one of my last episodes, number 202, where you literally get paralyzed with decisions because of this autopilot response that you just shut down. You're like, well, I'm not going to make any more. And literally the clutter doesn't stop in your house. It doesn't stop in your brain. It doesn't stop around you. And you feel overwhelmed. It gets worse. Your situation gets worse. You let things pile up. You feel paralyzed by all the things you should be doing that you don't do at all. Again, this could show up at work or anywhere really, but at work, you might get so mad at something your boss said and something a coworker did that you're like, I'm not going to show up tomorrow then, or I'm not going to come in, or you just underperform because of that's your autopilot response. That's the way to keep you safe in this scenario. And number 4 is projection. This is when you make your anxiety someone else's problem. Well, if my husband would just help more, I wouldn't be so stressed. If my kids would just behave, I could enjoy this Christmas season. If my family wasn't so demanding, I would be fine. If my family would just get along, then we would have a good Christmas time together. You blame, you deflect, you make it about them instead of looking at your own responses. This is my second autopilot. This is actually what I did in my burnout breakdown moment when I cried out to God for help. I said, God, if my husband would just help more, I would feel better. If my family would understand more that I was so busy, then I wouldn't feel so much pressure from them. If my family would help more, then I wouldn't be so stressed out. I can't keep up all of this alone by myself. And God told me no, because he knew I needed to look inside. And that was actually my third baby. And the first time I realized I had postpartum anxiety with all 3 babies. In all 3 postpartums, I actually was projecting my anxiety, this anxiety that I felt internally, onto if I just had more help, I wouldn't be acting this way. Here's the thing. We all do one or more of these. This isn't about shame. This isn't about blaming ourselves for acting this way and not getting it the first 100 times it happens, but being aware now, taking a look inside now. Because once you name your autopilot response, you can start to change it. Once you recognize it, you can say, now I want to heal. Now, Holy Spirit, help me heal. You're revealing this area that I need your help in. Okay, so let's talk about how to disrupt these patterns, how to heal, how to start the journey. And I'm going to give you 5 practical ways to interrupt your autopilot. The first step is to be still and listen. So this is to pause and notice what is actually happening in your body, what is actually happening in your mind. This is where prayer becomes so powerful, but I'm going to tell you, this one's not easy. When you're in the middle of a heated moment, when you're in the middle of that conflict auto response, you do not want to be still and listen. It is very hard. So this might happen after the blow up. This might happen after you've been sizzling all day. And finally, at the end of the day, you hit your pillow and you're like, gosh, Lord, help me. And you're still and you listen. You're like, I didn't want to show up like that today. What's going on inside of me? And you go to the Lord and you get quiet and you say exactly that. What is happening inside my body and my mind? Notice your physiological response. So in the moment, you can notice that response and think, is my heart racing? Am I getting sweaty? Are my shoulders really tight right now? Is my jaw clenched? Am I holding my breath? And then if you can pick up those physiological responses when they're happening, then you can know your body is going into autopilot. But again, maybe it's after the fact. And so you can just then be aware for the next time. This is all about learning. We are not failures. We are just learning, okay? We're all human beings that are learning. So you notice what your body's doing. And then you notice, what am I feeling? Name a feeling that is going on. Am I feeling overwhelmed? Am I feeling scared? Am I feeling out of control? Am I feeling angry? A lot of these are, again, your body trying to protect itself and keep it safe. And therefore, control is a big issue on that because your body is trying to control what happens internally and externally. And then this is the key. You ask the Lord for wisdom and revelation. You pray what I call the no-do prayer. And this is, Lord, what do I need to know right now about me, about my mind, about my body, about this scenario? And then what do I need to do? Sometimes he'll reveal a truth that you've just forgotten in the moment. And it's just, remember this. I love you. You're worthy. Or maybe he'll simply say, rest. You need to rest. He'll give you a specific direction for you. But you can't hear him if you don't get still. Be still and know that I am God is the verse, because of when we are still and quiet, we can be sensitive to Holy Spirit. We can be tuned in to his signal. But when we have a million thoughts going on around us and we're trying to control the situation, we're moving so fast and we're going through the holidays nonstop, we aren't in a position. We're not giving ourselves the position, the opportunity to hear God's voice and what he says to know and do. And so get still and listen, even in the midst of the busy. That made me remember I'm actually doing a prayer journal challenge in my private Facebook group this week. So we're already 2 days in if you're listening to this on the day it comes out, or you can go back and follow along for next week. There's no sign up for this. This is literally just something I am doing because I knew that I needed it. So I'm just putting it out there on the Facebook group to invite others to join me into remembering what the season's all about, to getting still and listen, and to really take time with the Prince of Peace that came, Emmanuel, to be with us, what better way to eliminate the stress of the season than to spend extra time in prayer? And so that's what we're doing in this challenge, I'm calling it. But because we can actually put prayer time and spending time with God on the back burner during the best time to celebrate Him. And so let's not do that because we're busy, we're stressed out, but actually let's make it front and center. That way we have the peace that really should be encompassing Christmas. Okay, step number 2 is to notice your pattern and name it. This is what we talked about earlier, but once you've paused, identify which autopilot response you're defaulting to. So are you in conflict? Are you in distancing? Are you overfunctioning, underfunctioning, projecting? Name it out loud. Literally, say it out loud. For example, I'm picking fights because I'm overwhelmed. Like I said, I'm snapping at you because I am anxious. Or I'm withdrawing because I don't know how to ask for help. Or I'm taking on too much because I don't trust anyone else to do it. Or I'm blaming my husband because I'm actually mad at myself. Again, when I was able to name it before for myself and tell my husband, listen, this is what I'm doing. I don't want to talk this way. I was naming it and I was seeing it. When you can see it, then you can take it off. You could say that autopilot response does not serve me. It's not protecting my body. It's not keeping me safe. It's actually hurting me and hurting others. And that is why this is so powerful, because when we can put words to our patterns, we bring them from the subconscious into the conscious. And when we're conscious of what we're doing, we can choose to respond differently. We can choose to respond like Jesus would, right? We're living to the Jesus way. We want to live like Jesus because that's the best way to live this life. And so we can choose to live that way when we know what we're doing that's not that way, right? And then again, go into no-do and say, Lord, I see this. Thank you for revealing this to me. Now, what do I need to know about it? And what do I need to do? Where did this start? Why am I doing this? Just ask Him questions and listen to His voice. Get still with Holy Spirit and hear what He has to say to you. And by the way, if you have trouble with that, please book me for a stress assessment call. This is a call about stress as in the title, but really about anything. I can get with you and we can find out how you can hear God's voice better in prayer. We can talk about it. We can just go through the whole process together. So it's complimentary, no strings attached. So go to bit.ly/stress assessment call. Just spell it out. Okay. The third step is the courageous faith method, which I have adapted from some other coaches and mentors of mine. This is a method that we use a lot in the Bold Blueprint coaching program, but I want to give you the basics here because it is so powerful. But if you want to know more about that, again, book a stress assessment call with me and I'll share more with you about the Bold Blueprint and if it's a good fit for you, because this method will literally change your life. And that's what the Bold Blueprint is all about. So here's what you do. You take a recent scenario where your autopilot kicked in. Maybe you snapped at your kid. Maybe you're shutting down when your husband tries to talk to you. Maybe you feel yourself distancing yourself from coworkers or from your kids. Put yourself back in that experience and ask the questions. What did I think in that moment? What was the thought that came in my head? What was the negative or fear thought? What did I feel? What did I say? What did I do? And what was the result? Be honest, write it all down. That is definitely part of it, is being honest with yourself. And then here's where the transformation begins. You go back through the same questions, but this time you respond with courage and faith. You respond with a courageous thought. You think through, what do I wish I had thought? What is a faith thought? If I was going to be someone of faith, or take one of your core values, be someone of love, be someone of integrity, be someone of accountability, be someone of grit, what would I have thought in that moment? What do I wish I felt? What would I have said then if I thought that, if I felt that? What would I have said if I was operating out of faith and not anxiety? What would I have done differently? What would the result have been had it started with that faith thought? How would I have shown up? And then this isn't about beating yourself up again for what you did do, but this is about rehearsing a new response for that next time, because there will be a next time, because this is your autopilot. So now you know the better way that you want to respond, that you're going to choose. So then when you're in that scenario again, the thought will come up, oh, do I choose the faith thought or do I choose the fear thought? And then you get to make a decision. So you're literally creating that new autopilot and a faith one instead of an anxiety-driven one. Okay, the next thing is to give your word. Once you've identified your pattern, you've practiced responding differently, the next step is to really involve someone else. Where there is accountability, there is change. You need to talk to someone, a trusted friend, your spouse, a coach. This is what I do. This is a big part of coaching. And you talk about your autopilot pattern. You talk about what you're doing, your response, and you say, I want to change this, but I need some help. Will you hold me accountable? Will you help process this with me? And again, this is what I did with my husband. I said, listen, I need you to help me get out of this. I don't know how to do it on my own. I'm working on it, but I need you to help me. So in the coaching world, we professionally and personally hold our clients to being people of integrity. That's what we're doing. We're saying, I don't want to keep responding this way. I want to give you my word and I'm going to do the work. I'm going to try my hardest to do the work to change. And this matters because when we keep our struggles hidden, they have power over us. But when we bring them into the light and, of course, invite someone else to walk this out with us, we're no longer alone in the fight. This is vulnerable, and this is where we can be accountable with each other. Also authentic. Like you're showing someone else how you're going to be authentic and vulnerable with them. And so that will come back to you, and then you grow deeper relationships with each other. So it's so good for so many things. And then honor your word. This is, again, integrity. This is how we actually become the person of integrity that we want to be, is honoring what we said we would do. And so when we're busy, when we're overwhelmed, and we just don't respond the way we wish we had, we can still be someone of integrity by doing this 4-step process. Okay, I'm giving you a lot of steps today, but this is integrity. Ready? You confess. You tell the truth. What did I do wrong? How did my autopilot show up? What did I say? What did I do? And then second, assess the impact. Ask the other person or yourself, if it was a promise you broke with yourself, how did that impact me? How did I feel when that happened? Or you ask the other person, how did that make you feel? I am sorry that that happened. How did my response and my autopilot affect you? And then you offer that heartfelt apology again. You say, I'm sorry. I was wrong. I reacted out of anxiety instead of responding from the place that I want to with faith and courage. And then fourth, you re-promise. You try again. You get up and try again. And you say, here is what I'm going to try to do. Can you hold me to it? I am asking for your accountability. I want to be someone of integrity. And so I'm going to try to make this right. And I'm going to try again. And before and after this 4-step process, you go back to the Lord. What do I need to know? And what do I need to do? And God, what do I need to know about being someone of integrity? And what do I need to do? I literally had to do this week. It was hard, but I went to God and I said, I know I had a part to play in this disagreement. What do I need to do? What do I need to own up to be someone of integrity? And it is hard. I struggled. I will be honest with you. It took me 3 days to actually do what God said to do. But can I tell you how much better I felt when I did that? So much better. We need Holy Spirit's help. We need His wisdom. We need His grace. And it's there waiting for us if we just ask for it. Okay, step 5 in the disrupting of our autopilot. This is the best one. This is my favorite. This is the one I want you all to do, is celebrate your win. When you notice that you didn't default to your autopilot, you pause before snapping at your kid, you ask for help instead of over-functioning, you stayed present instead of withdrawing, you had the hard conversation, you talked about the budget of Christmas and the new year, you did the hard thing, you celebrate it. You tell someone, you write it in your journal, you thank God for it, you do a little dance in your kitchen. I don't care, but you mark the moment. You are grateful. You celebrate you for becoming the person that you want to be, that God is designing you to be. Why? Because the celebration tells your nervous system, this is how I want to keep responding. This is safe for me. This is good for my holistic self, for my mind, body, and spirit. This is my new autopilot. Your brain learns through repetition and reward, right? So when you celebrate growth, you're literally rewiring your neural pathways to respond with faith instead of fear. And over time, that new response becomes automatic. You won't have to work so hard. It will literally just be who you are and how you respond. Okay, this was a lot. This was a packed full episode. I hope you took notes. But here's a recap for you. There are 4 autopilot anxiety responses: conflict, distance, over and under functioning, and projection. To disrupt them, be still and listen. Ask God, no do. Notice your pattern and name it. Use the courageous faith method. Give your word to someone for accountability. Honor your word. Be someone of integrity through confession, assessment, apology, and repromising. And lastly, celebrate every single win along the way because you are so good. You are such a good mom. You're such a good nurse. You're such a good caregiver. You're such a good human being. And you need to tell yourself that. This holiday season does not have to be chaotic. You can respond differently. It doesn't have to be so stressful. You can break the autopilot anxiety responses that are stealing your peace. And if you want help with that, if you're thinking, okay, this sounds hard though, I need someone to help me walk through this deeper, that's exactly what the stress assessment call is for. Again, book me for that. I still have some spots available before Christmas. Go to bit.ly/stress assessment call. This is complimentary, no strings attached, but there are limited spots before Christmas. So please don't let this Christmas be crazy, stressful, and chaotic. Let's stop it now. Let's get your autopilot stopped in the middle of its tracks and have a peaceful Christmas. Lastly, if you see any of these auto responses showing up in your Christmas season, then I encourage you to take action, disrupt them with these tools, and have a peaceful holiday season. Shalom. Shalom. Hey, Wellness Warrior. I pray that blessed you. And if so, it would bless me big if you would write a 5-star review and subscribe on Apple Podcasts. Not only would this make me super happy, but it will allow for others to find this show too. Also, I love to chat over on Instagram, so make sure to take a screenshot, share to your Instagram stories, and tag me @theshanwright so I can see it and we can keep chatting and bring other moms to chat with us. Until we get to chat again, mama friend, may the Lord's face shine upon you and give you peace.